So in front of me, I have a cat model, and the red part highlighted on the cat is where the 3D magic lens is at right now. So if I can move this magic lens using the parameters, the parameters in the upper, the I guess top of the parameter window, right? So if I move on the X, U, X, Z, I can move it on the Y and the Z, right? And so I can move this around and adjust what I want to select, what part of the object I want to modify, right? And I can also increase the scale of the lens using the UDX, UDY, UDZ, right? So now that I have my selection, what I can to start modifying it, I have to hit this lock down here to lock my selection, and now you can see it separated the selection from the main body of the object. So now I can start modifying whatever I want with this selected part. So similar to the magic lens, I can move it, transform it on all the axes, and I can also scale it using the ones down here, UD, MX, UDMY, UDMZ, like so. Oh, that is very skinny. Let me just reset that. Okay, and so now what's new in this version of my project is I can actually rotate the selection now. So to do this, you have to let's see, trying to get it to look good. To do this, you have to use the these parameters over here, the U axis, axes, and the U angle over here. So how this works is if I increase the U, one of these axes to maximum, that means I've selected the angle. So the rotation, or the rotation actually uses quaternions. So I have to select an axis to rotate around. So if I select the x-axis, right, move it all the way to 1, I can then start rotating it using the U angle M, like so. Right, it's rotating around the x-axis, you can see. Right, and if I pull this back, do it on the y, I choose the y-axis to rotate around, now it will rotate around the y-axis. And so the same would also work for the z-axis, just real quick, like so. And the interesting thing about all the modifications, all the transforms you can do with the selected part, is that they all add on each other. So if I say if I rotate on the y-axis like this way, I can still move it around like this, right? The rotation is still there and it's staying there. I can also scale it, right? So now any of these so all these modifications are I guess you could say independent from each other. So you don't need one, or one of them. They don't affect each other. So that's probably what I'm trying to say. And lastly, what you can do, another modification you can do is changing the color, right? So modifying what's on top of the texture. Here I can mess with the slider. Probably can't see it on the screen, but I'm changing the color. And I can also mess with the value, so it can be completely dark or light like that. And another interesting thing I can do is change the alpha. So if I lower the alpha, you can see the texture is slowly starting to seep through. If I lower it all the way, then there's no color modification. If I increase it like that, then it's going to go back to completely being saturated. I'll just leave it like this. And although this really isn't a modification, the U edge margin essentially increases how separated the selected part is from the main body of the object. So if I increase this, you'll see it starting to disappear. If I decrease it, then eventually you can see that the illusion will be broken. You can see that you can see that it's starting to connect back together. So what the edge margin is really doing is creating that illusion that the selected part of the object and the main body of the object are separated, even though in reality they aren't.